Welcome back to Loving Living Local. It's a seller's market industry, meaning there are more home buyers than there are houses. So if you have a home to sell, should you even take the time to stage and fix it up before putting it on the market? Well, to tell us about that is Mark Eibner with Metro Brokers. Good morning.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today.
You bet.
Well, Mark, it seems that property is just flying off the shelf these days, so I'm curious about past activities that sellers took in a slower market to sell their homes. My neighbor is listing their home, and they're taking care of some updating like paint and carpet, as well as landscaping, decluttering, and staging, along with a 3D tour photography. Is this really still needed?
Well, that's a great question, Sarah. And sellers are all the time they ask me that question. And with today's headlines, of course, it looks like you can just put your home on the market and it's going to sell in a day. But I'll tell you, in the 35 years that I've been in the business, in all types of market, the answer is a resounding yes. I mean, behind the scenes in the trenches, the property enhancement will always pay 50, 100, 150% more return on investment for those sellers. And those are really good numbers.
Okay, well, that seems kind of counterintuitive to what some people are thinking. Can you explain this for our audience?
Yeah, well, I think regardless of the market, in a slow market, the best homes, even in a very slow market, they're going to always sell first, they're going to sell the fastest, and they're going to sell for above what we would call the market pricing trend at that time. In really hot markets like we're having here in Colorado, the best homes are absolutely going to sell with more offers. They're going to sell for more money. And here's the real trick. They're actually going to get to the closing table. And that's something that's really worth talking about. People are always looking for the great product. So if you go out and look at 5, 6, 10 homes and they're all dogs except for the one home, I assure you the one that's the best is the one that most people will be willing to pay more for.
Okay, so when you say getting to the closing table on time, can you kind of explain what you mean by that?
Well, it's kind of a rare scenario that what we're having right now, but theoretically, when you have a market where people are paying above asking price on a consistent basis, there are times where people have buyer's remorse. I mean, close to 20% of the homes that go under contract right now are actually returning to market shortly thereafter. So the seller may not have made the right repairs up front. They may not have did the right things, and the buyer revisits the house. They do their inspection, etc., and they basically decide, hey, we're not going to pay this much for this house. It's not what we thought. So a lot of sellers end up selling their homes basically twice instead of just getting them done right the first time.
Okay, so you mentioned 50% to 100% return on your cash on the fix-up and staging costs. Can you kind of explain that a bit?
Yeah, actually, I mean, I've even got a great example from this past weekend. I mean, the market value of the house was 3 to 315 in as-is condition. All the competition were basically unupdated homes. Even some were dogs, right? Well, the seller did front yard landscaping, brilliant new green grass, repaired the sprinkler, put in LVT, put in carpet in all the bedrooms, painted the entire main floor, put in a base stainless steel appliance package, decluttered and staged the home. We did a 3D tour, out of pocket cash, 11 grand. The house had 60 showings, 18 contracts, 4 in the 340 to 350 range, 10 in the 325 to 335 range, and it was listed at 300,000. So in this case, the 11,000 easily got the seller 20,000 or more, which is, remember, that's 100% tax-free return. You spend 10, you get 20. The 10 grand is not taxed by the government. So buyers want the house. It's in great condition. We made some basic repairs. This house will close. It will go to the closing table, and the buyer has no problems for what they paid for the house.
Okay, and we know proper presentation is always important regardless of the market, right?
Right. Doing the right thing is your insurance policy that you're really going to get the most on your home investment with the least amount of hassle.
All right, Mark. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We always appreciate you on here.
Great being with you again, Sarah.
And for more information, you can go to metrobrokersonline.com. And this segment has been sponsored by Metro Brokers. We'll be back after the break.